everyone. We are here on a Thursday. This is so unusual for us. Normally it's a Wednesday, but we're here, we're live, and we're here to chat for National Crochet Month. We've got a lot going on this month. It is a wonderful month because it is National Crochet Month. So we just wanted to chat with you guys about a whole bunch of things. So as you come in, say hello, let us know where you're watching from, what you're working on. And today we're going to talk about picking the right sweater for you. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple different patterns that we have in our collection. And we're going to take a look at the measurements and we're going to figure out how to pick them. We're going to talk about measuring of yourself. And if you guys have questions along the way, go ahead and throw them in the chat and I will do my best to get them answered for you right away. So it is great to have everybody here. Let's just go ahead and jump in. So I'm going to try to switch over here. And okay, so we have a little bit of a shadow. Sorry, guys, about that, but hopefully you can see. This here is our Dawn Valley pullover, and this is one of our wonderful projects from one of our magazine issues, and I thought this would be great because there's a whole bunch of garment patterns in this issue, so we're just going to talk about it. So when you look at a pattern, sometimes it's going to be in a different location. Ours are always in the same, so that's really great for us. We have this section called finished measurements at the start. And what you're going to see here is you're going to see a list of numbers. And you may be thinking, okay, so what are those numbers? I don't know. How do I figure this out? Which one do I pick? Right here, it's telling you that it is the finished bust measurement. So that means that is going to be this size right here at the bust when you are finished with your project. The caveat, if you meet gauge, which is stated here in the pattern, you have to meet the gauge or be very, very close to it to be able to get these finished measurements when you pick this size. So gauge is always important. So this also tells us that the garment is meant to be worn with 4 to 8 inches of positive ease. So what does that mean? Positive ease means that it's going to it's meant to be worn larger than what your bust size is. So let's just say for round numbers, let's just say for round numbers, you are a 30-inch bust. Okay, I know that's a little small, but we're just going to use it because it's an easy number. So if you're a 30-inch bust, when you measure yourself, that means for this garment to fit the way it was designed, you're going to add 4 to potentially 8 inches to that 30 to pick what size you want. So if I'm a 30-inch bust and I'm adding 4 inches, that puts me at 34. Now, if I bring this back up, you will notice that the smallest size here is a 36 and a half. So if I want to have that smallest size, this is going to be 6.5 inches larger than what my bust size is. Okay, so that's great. We can kind of figure that all out, but what does that mean for when I pick a sweater? How do I know which bust size is going to be right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to measure yourself. And what you want to do is you want to measure yourself around the fullest part of your bust. And you want to kind of do this with just your undergarments on. So right now I'm wearing this sweater. I would not want to be measuring myself with this sweater on because there's ease in my sweater. So that would be calculated into your measurements and that's not what you want to do. So I recommend going down to just your undergarments and you're going to get a tape measure and you're going to bring it around and you're going to measure at the fullest part of your chest. Okay. One of the tips too for measuring around that fullest part is make sure you put your arms down because if you're holding yourself up here, you're actually changing the way that your measurement is as opposed to if your arms are down and that's going to give you the right measurement. So if you can't do it yourself because your arms have to come up, get somebody else to help you and just read where that tape measure is. And that's what you're going to know. So that'll be your bust measurement. And then you'll be able to pick from there. Now, you have to take into consideration how you like to wear your sweaters. So again, if you're measuring a 30-inch bust when you use your tape measure, you're going to get a very tight fitting garment if you're picking the size 30 inches or whatever is close to. What I also suggest is taking your favorite garment that you have, whether you've made it or it's a store-bought, and use that to measure as well. So now I know my bust is a 30-inch, but maybe I take my favorite sweater or sweatshirt or whatever the style I'm looking to fit, and I'm going to measure that across right under the armpits to get my bust measurement and just see what that positive ease is that I like. And now I can go back to the pattern and say, okay, it's supposed to be made with 4 to 8 inches, but when I wear a sweater, I like it to be 10 inches. So I'm going to pick a size that is 10 inches larger than my bust. Hopefully this is all making sense. If you have any questions, let us know. So let me bring up this other pattern here that I wanted to make sure that I show you, because this one is a little bit different. Let me see here if I can bring this one up. Okay, so this one here is called our Snowcap Fade Pullover. And what you're going to notice here, let me maybe do that to glare, is so this garment is meant to be worn with 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. So we always tell you that, and most garments do tell you that. But the thing you're going to notice here is the finished bust slash hip measurement is this. And so it's the hip and bust because this means that it is a straight down garment. So you're not going to have shaping down here at your waist. But if it ever tells you about your hip measurement, it's also important to have that measurement. So when we're talking about your hips, we are not talking about your waist. We are talking about the fullest part of your body. Usually it's right around your bottom where you're sitting down. That's going to be your fullest part. So you want to know that measurement. If you're getting the smallest part, those are going to be your waist measurement as opposed to your hip measurement. These are all really good measurements to write down so that you have it and you don't have to worry about it. You can keep it in your project bag with you for the next time you want to make a sweater or a garment that you're trying to size out. If you're trying to make for somebody else, the easiest way is to measure them yourself. Or what I've done to surprise my mom in the past is I've taken one of the sweaters I know she wears a lot and I've used that to measure and say, okay, I'm not going to look at the finished, or I'm not going to figure out what the ease is. I'm just going to say, this is the finished bust size that I want based off of an already made garment that she liked to wear. So in recapping, you want to measure yourself right around the fullest part of your bust to be able to get your bust size measurement. You want to do it with undergarments on only, and the undergarments you're going to wear with the project or the finished piece. If you're going to wear a regular bra, wear that. If you're going to be wearing a sports bra under it, you're going to fit differently in different undergarments. So wear what you're going to wear or most commonly wear under your finished piece to get that measurement. Then I always recommend measuring one of your favorite pieces to wear so that you know what your favorite ease is in a project. Because again, a lot of projects are going to say that it has a range of ease. And so for you to be able to pick, know what ease you like best, and then try to pick that bust size that is your bust size plus your favorite amount of ease. You don't have to follow the pattern when it says it's suggested for 4 to 8 if your favorite is a 6 and you can add your 30 and your 6 and you can find your size. It's telling you how the pattern is written, but you want to pick the bust size measurement that is going to fit your bust and your preferred ease. And that's how you go ahead and you pick your next garment. I know sometimes it can be a little tricky because I can look at patterns and I can say, this is the bust size I like to make. And then you kind of have to figure out how much ease is in it to make sure it's the right thing. But the biggest thing is checking your gauge throughout your project. When you do a gauge swatch, you're getting a very good representation of what you're going to get. But as you work, let's be honest, a garment is going to take you more than one day to make. And so your gauge might slightly vary depending on how you're feeling, what happened at work, what's happening with your family. Maybe you're having a party or something. Depending on what's going on, your gauge is going to change. So continue to take gauge measurements off of the piece you're working on as you work to make sure that it's going to continue to fit you when the piece is finished. So that's our tip for today and how to pick your right size for your next sweater garment. We hope that you'll check out some garments. If you're looking for a great garment pattern, I highly suggest, this is our issue 8. We have a whole bunch, there's a whole collection of garments in here. You can also buy these garments by themselves as an ebook, which we can share with you guys as well. And you'll get a whole bunch of patterns in that little ebook if you don't want to go with the full magazine. It doesn't look like there's any questions based off of what we were talking about. It is great to see some of you guys here. We see Heather, I see Gail, I see Rachel, I see Margaret. It is so wonderful to have you guys here as always. If you do have questions, go ahead and you can put them in the chat. You can do it now, you can do it later, and we'll be watching this feed to kind of keep track of those questions, and we will do our best to help you with making your measurements and picking out the next size that you need to make a garment. So thanks so much for joining us. We will be back next Wednesday at our regular live time. And then we'll have another tip tutorial that we're going to be doing next week for our National Crochet Month. And if you're signed up for the email newsletter, you're going to get your free pattern on Friday. Oh, a whole bunch of comments just came in. Hi, Megan. Hi, Christina. Hi, Ashley. All really good tips, especially measuring your especially especially measuring with the undergarments that you'd wear with your garment. Yeah, a lot of times you don't think about it because let's be honest, most of the time when you're crocheting or working on a project, you're sitting down at night, you're in maybe your pajamas, you're in your cozy clothing, and that's not necessarily what you're gonna wear with your garment, in most cases. So you wanna make sure you're getting your full bust measurement so that it's going to fit you no matter what you're wearing. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. If you have any other questions, go ahead and let us know. All my family's here watching as well. Great to see you guys. But keep letting us know your questions, and we'll be taking questions all week or on our question post on Tuesday. We are here to help you, and we are here to help make your crochet journey just wonderful. We're here, we love it, and we're so glad you're here to crochet with us too. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.